Hello students, in this session we are going to talk about web design and programming that is based on JavaScript. So now the moment we say that the third unit is based on JavaScript, we are going to be like the people have already studied Java. So if people are familiar with how objects are created, how objects are accessed. So the syntax, the basic syntax for all this will be pretty much the same that we follow in Java. The only thing is we need to understand that when we say JavaScript, we mainly use it for our validation purpose. Also that when we say JavaScript is related to Java, we basically JavaScript is not an object-oriented language. But then it is based on the concepts are based on the objects. It is that is how it is said. But again, when we talk about the creation of objects with the help of the new keyword, just like we do it in Java, here also we will do it with the new expression or the new keyword. So you can have a look at the first point here, that is whenever we need to create objects here, whenever we talk about JavaScript and we want to create the objects in JavaScript, we are going to make use of the keyword var. Now, talking about JavaScript and the data types here, we are not going to make use of the primitive ways of writing the data types, like we would write int or we write char or float, double. That is not how we are going to write for JavaScript. We are going to make use of the term var. So var indicates that it is a variable. Now, based on the type of data stored in it, the data type is going to be assumed there. Now, for creation of objects, we make use of the keyword var followed by your object name. So, the object name here you can see is my object is equal to new. New indicates that we are trying to create an object followed by the object function. So, now my object is an object here. Now, next thing, after the creation of the objects, how are we supposed to access it? So the properties of an object are going to be accessed by the dot notation. So the dot notation, just like you use in Java, your Java programming language. So here also the dot notation is going to be used. So the first word before the dot is going to be the object name, and the second word is going to be the property name. So when we talk about JavaScript and objects here, now every object can have any number of properties. Any number of properties can be added and deleted. Now let's see the example here. You can see how an object is created. We make use of the keyword var. So this time the object name, the object that is created here is my car. In the first instance, we saw the object that was created was my object. So here the object name is my car. Now this particular object, my car, can have different properties. What could be the properties? We can say that the properties could be the year of manufacturing for that car. It could be the make of that car, that is which company. It could be price for that car. So these are the different properties for this object, my car. So now how do we try to have the properties, or how do we try to access the properties with the help of the dot notation? First, the syntax is we need to have the object name as the left hand side, the left hand operand, then a dot operator. After the dot operator, we are going to have our property name. So here you can see that the creation of the properties for JavaScript objects is dynamic in nature. So directly at the time of assignment or initialization, you can directly create the JavaScript object properties. Once again, just read this the second point here. We are able to access the objects properties of an object for the JavaScript using dot notation. But the first word is the object name. So the first word before the dot operator is the object name, that is my car. So we have created an object here. To create an object, we are familiar with this syntax. So now the object that is created here is my car. So my car is the object name, then we have a dot operator, and the second word is the property name. So the second word is the property name. The property name is make, and the value that is assigned or the value that is initialized for this property make is 4. So in a similar way, you can also create another property. You can say my car dot, you can say price is equal to say 5 lakhs. So likewise, you can assign or you can create different properties for a particular object and assign or initialize the values. Another way in which you will be able to create the objects are you can also create or initialize the multiple objects at a given point of time. In the previous instance, in the previous slide here, we just created one property for the object my car and the property name is make. But if I want to also specify the model and the make these are the two properties for the object my car. The object that we created is my car. The properties that this object my car has is make and model. So one method we saw, another method is having multiple properties and their respective values in the form of a key value pair. So here you can see that you have the object my car which is initialized with two properties. The properties are make and model and the values of these properties are initialized to Ford and SVT. So there are two ways in which we can have properties creation and initialization. One is this one property at a time and another would be having multiple properties and the respective values in the form of key value pairs, just like we studied dictionaries in Python which exist in key and value pair. So what if you try to access, if you want to access this, you make use of a dot operator. But suppose that particular property is not existing. If I say that I want to access the price property for the object my car, you can see that there is no such a property here. We only have a make and model. So then what is going to happen is the value, the error that is going to be thrown is going to be undefined because the value is not existing there. So you can also delete a particular object with its respective property, like delete my car dot model. So what is going to happen if we run this delete my car dot model? This particular the second key value pair model and SVT. Then my car object will just have one property that is make. So this is just the basics of JavaScript objects and the properties. Just like CSS, the way we try to embed CSS in our HTML files or HTML programs, you can also embed your JavaScript or JavaScript programs in HTML. One way is trying to maintain two different files, one HTML file and another is going to be a JavaScript file. So for that, you can see here within the HTML section, we will again have to mention script type and say text slash JavaScript. For CSS, we would write text slash CSS. The source is going to be obviously the file name in which your JavaScript code is saved. Now you need to carefully remember this and observe that for JavaScript, though this script tag is empty, you can see an opening script tag and a closing script tag here. There is compulsion that we need to mention this closing script tag, even if the opening and the closing tags of the script are empty, they do not have any content within. But it is a compulsion that we mention the closing script tag also. This is one way. Another way would be within the HTML part, in the body section, we directly include the script and the script tag and then start writing a JavaScript code. So in the upcoming sessions, we will see the examples. Next, what we need to understand when we talk about JavaScript, we need to remember that JavaScript is basically a case-sensitive language. So you cannot assume that if you have declared a variable in lowercase and you try to access it using uppercase, it will give. That is not what to happen. So JavaScript is case-sensitive. Then the common rules for identifiers, just like other programming languages, that it should begin with a letter, or it can begin with an underscore, or it can also begin with a dollar symbol when it comes to JavaScript. But it cannot begin with a digit. Also, then there is no length limitation for these identifier declaration. An identifier can go up to any maximum length that you want. Then, talking about the comments in JavaScript, single line comments are the normal way that we make use of slashes. and multi-line comments are indicated by slash and asterisk, the common programming convention. Coming to the data types, the primitive data types here are largely classified as numbers, string, and boolean. Now, what comes in number? Any format or any variable which will belong to integer, or it can be a floating value, or it can be a power of value, that is exponential value, will come under the category of numbers. Okay, so just like I said, when we talk about the data types here, we do not declare them as int, but the moment we assign a particular value to that variable, based on the value that is assigned, it belongs to a particular data type. So the broader categorization will be numbers, strings, and booleans. Now, strings, how a string is going to be identified or declared? Whenever you enclose any particular word or a string within single quotes or double quotes, both are used, single quotes and double quotes, both can be used, that will be identified as a string data type. And we know that boolean is basically true or false. Let's quickly just see one simple way in which we will be able to declare the variables here. So the keyword for variable declaration is going to be var, followed by, say that you can have any particular variable name. So for now I will just say let the value be pi. Now I have just declared the variable, I have not initialized the value. The moment I initialize the value for this, if I write 3.14, so it is going to be what? The data type of pi is going to be numbers. So numbers again can have floating point, or they can just be the whole integer numbers. Anything is allowed. Even exponential values, when we raise a number to certain power, even that is treated as a number. Now the moment I declare this variable or I declare this number in double quotes, or I declare it in single quotes, this will be treated as a string. This particular variable pi, the data type of the variable pi will be treated as a string because of the single quotes or the double quotes that we use. So this basically we can say that data types in JavaScript are again dynamic. We do not have to stick to our traditional ways of writing int, float, string, char. We do not have to stick to that. So let's go back to the next points. Now, variable declaration here, as I said, is dynamic in nature. At the time of initialization, the data type is going to be declared, or the data types, which type of a data is that is going to be understood at the type of initialization of the variable. So you can see here, for example, pi is 3.14. So that is means this is a float or a double. And then you have so many variables declared in this single line which are separated by commas. We have a counter variable which is not initialized. Then we have flag which is initialized to true, means it is a boolean data type. Then value is initialized to store the string today because it is in double quotes. This particular value, the data type will be string. Then just like other programming languages, we have different numeric operators here. We can for addition, plus, then subtraction, minus, division, slash, modulus, and so on. Just like we have for different programming languages. Then one important part when we talk about JavaScript here is we have a special object that is called as a math object. So what this math object has, this basically has functions. When we want, they are built-in functions. Whenever we want to perform certain trigonometric functions like sine, cos, tan, so there are built-in functions which we have to just pass the parameter and the value will be returned. We also have some of them mentioned here, like floor is there, round is there, which will round up the number. Then we have max, which will return the max of the given list of given numbers. So these are some of the functions or the math objects. So we will see examples in the upcoming session for this math object. Then coming to the next part, that is the string concatenations. Talking about strings, any character or any particular word which is written in single or double quotes will be treated as a string in JavaScript. So string concatenation, we know that can be done with the help of the plus symbol. We can join two strings with the help of our plus symbol. So for the demonstration, assume if I declare, okay, let me say I declare another variable and let me say that this is string s1, and here I will say, I will write the word as web. Now, if I want to concatenate these two strings, so the simple way of writing this in JavaScript would be, we will try to concatenate it with the help of the plus operator. We will concatenate with the help of the plus operator. Now, you can see here, since you may be confused that since there is 3 assigned to 5, which is an integer, how is it going to be concatenated? So it is just going to be in the form of the output that will be returned will be just web 3. So one concept that we have in JavaScript is called as cohesions. That is basically you try to typecast. What is going to happen here is, since there is single quotes, it is a string. Second variable is also a string, right? So the thing, it's not web 3, it is going to be 3 web. So this is how it is going to be returned. Suppose you have here, instead of the numeric 3, assume you have the word 3. So how it is going to be written? 3 web. So the plus symbol will help us to concatenate. Then we have some of the string built-in methods also. They are, in here a list is given. We have char add index of substring, two lowercase, two uppercase. Then repeat is there. Then we have again to replace the string or slice a string. Let's see one simple program of JavaScript to demonstrate these different string methods. So let's have a look at this particular document here. In the basically have a look at the name, the extension with which this particular file is stored. So what I have done is, I have included or embedded my JavaScript within my HTML file. So the file, that extension with what it is going to be saved is going to be .html. Then we begin with the main thing, that is the HTML tag. I have not included the head tag here. Then within the body section, one heading tag, H2 for the title, and now the important part here is the script tag. So here you can see the opening script tag in the body section of the HTML, and here is the closing script tag. Now within these opening and the closing script tag, I will have my JavaScript code. Another way is, the code that I have written here can be saved as an external JavaScript file, .js. The extension that will come is .js there. And that file can be included or imported in this particular HTML, just like we do for CSS. So now here, the first method that we have is char add. So remember, JavaScript is case sensitive. We have to write it in this particular way that is given here. A, the letter A is capital. So this is a method which is going to return the character at a specified position in a string. So now this method, it takes one parameter. The parameter is the numeric value. If you pass the numeric value, it will return particular letter which is at this index value. Now have a look here. I have declared str, and this particular variable str is initialized with this string value hello world. Just like normal programming conventions that we follow, the index again begins with 0. So 0, 1, 2 and so on. So now which letter or say which alphabet is at the index value 4? Why 4? Have a look at the next statement. Another variable called st, and in this variable what I am trying to store? I am trying to store the output of this. So what is str now here? Str contains hello world. So I am saying hello world dot char at 4. So I am expecting what? I am expecting an alphabet at the index 4. Let's count from here. So H is 0, then E is 1, L is 2, and the last another L is going to be 3 and then 4. This is 3, sorry, and then at where the cursor is at O, that is going to be our fourth index. So O is going to be returned. So the output here is going to be O. Now I need to print this. So how do we print it on the screen? We need to display it on the browser. So we have different ways. One simple way for now would be to write document dot write. Okay, so this particular method will help us to print on our browser screen. Now what I have printed here is in double quotes. I have written the method and plus symbol. Plus symbol is used to append or is used to concatenate. I am appending the output that is stored in the variable st. So O is going to be the output. And then what is the last line here? The last line document dot write, which includes in double quotes br tag. So br will act here as a slash n. So br will act here as the new line character. Will act as a new line character. Now let's have a look at the output for these 4 statements. So here you can see this is the first one, char add. O is returned. Now if I want W to be returned, I need to specify the index value as 6. Let us save and go back and refresh. So you can see the character that is present at index 6 is W. In the similar way, I have code here for different string functions. So what we can do is, since I have mentioned here in comments, the code has become lengthy. So we can directly just, after this particular line number 12, we can directly go on writing document.write and then the method name here for us to identify, plus we can append our particular method. The method could be index of or any other respective methods. Then the next one we have is index of. So what this is going to do? The index of method is going to return the position of first occurrence of a specified value in the string. So let's try to understand this with the help of the output here. You can see the variable str1 is basically a string which is holding these set of words or characters. Now, with the help of document.write, I am trying to print it on the browser window. This is just for us to identify which method's output is there. So in double quotes, I have written index of. Now, plus indicates concatenation. So string 1 means this entire string. Then I have said index of, and I have passed the parameter, a single parameter, that is welcome. So at what index is this word welcome starting? So let's count the index here. Again from this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and so on. Right? So it should return the index value of this W. So let's have a look here at the output. So you can see the index value 13. So 13 is written. Why 13? Because the string or the word welcome is beginning at the index 13. So now instead of welcome, if I am going to specify, let me say I specify world. So world begins at which particular index? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space 6, and this is 7. So it should return now 7. Let's check. Sorry, it's 6 here. Let's go back and just count once again. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yes. So there was a counting mistake. So W begins at the index 6. W in the sense this, the word, the index of function takes a particular position, returns the position with the specified string, the first occurrence. If you have another word here with the same spelling, so it is not going to count this. This index value of this W will not be counted, but the first occurrence is this. So this index value will be returned. So again we know that BR is the new line character here. The next method that we have is the substring. So this substring method, what it is going to do, it is going to help us to extract the characters. So how does it extract the characters? We need to specify the start position and the end position in terms of numeric values, but the end will not be included. So first let's have a look at this example, then we'll understand the rest of these comments. So remember that the substring method takes two parameters. The two parameters are basically the start index and the end index, but the end index will not be included. So you can now see that index value 1 is going to be E. Then let us count up till 4. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 is going to be our letter O. But what they have said here, the substring method extracts characters between start and end, not including the end. So O is not going to be included. So it is going to work only up till n minus 1, not up till this 4. So it will return only up till L. So let's check the output here. For the substring, you can see here from 1 up till 3 is returned. So if you want to include even the O, then we need to increment this particular index, the end value, by plus 1. So now if we refresh, we will also get the next alphabet. Then another thing here in substrings is usually the usual way is we try to specify the start value is going to be lower and the ending value is going to be higher. But sometimes if at all you try to specify this in the reverse way, if we specify this in the reverse way like 4 comma 1, so what the substring method will do, the substring method will just swap these two arguments. If your start value is greater than your end value, so if we count manually, we know that 4 means here at alphabet O. So we are trying to do it in reverse way. So what substring method does, it will simply swap the values and return the same result. Let's go back and refresh now. So you can see here, again this output is resembling that of the index 1 comma 4. Then we have two very easy methods that we have studied so far, that is 2 lowercase and 2 uppercase. So we know that 2 lowercase and 2 uppercase, what they do, the 2 lowercase method converts the string to lowercase and uppercase, 2 uppercase converts the string to uppercase, and we are able to print it on the screen now. So let's just quickly see here, the string is same, hello world. Now I want to convert this particular string here to lowercase. So the method name is 2, L is capital and C is capital in lower and case. So which two characters are here in capitals? We have H and we have W. So these two will be converted to lowercase. Rest of it goes unaffected. Similarly here for the uppercase method, as we can see, the rest of the string here after H and after W is in lowercase. These will be converted to uppercase. Then the last method that we have here, last two methods we have trim and repeat. So the trim method is used especially when you try to create, with the help of HTML, you try to create input elements like you have text fields and then you try to accept the input from the user. Imagine that you have created a form, a contact page, and there you are accepting the user's name, first name, second, last name, followed by the mobile number. So sometimes what may happen is user may try to give lot of blank spaces. So the trim method will help us to remove those blank spaces. Let's see the example here now. We can see that we have the variable str5, but there is a lot of white space that is before the string and after the string. So what this trim method is going to do is, it will remove all these white spaces. So you need to imagine that you have the text box, and when you try to enter, you give a lot of space and then type in your name. So if we have, for validation, if we have used this trim method, it is going to cut off these blank spaces. Then the last one that we have is the repeat method, which is going to return a new string with specified number of copies. So what is the meaning of this? What I need this particular string hello world to be repeated twice. So this repeat method takes a single parameter. The parameter is how many times do you want to repeat the particular word. The word hello world should be repeated twice. And that is what we are printing with this document.write. So let's see the example for the last 4 here. So we can see here, for the lowercase h and w is converted to lowercase. Here the rest of the words after h and w are for in uppercase here. Trim, the white spacing has been removed. And for the repeat, we can see that the string is repeated twice. So hello world is repeated twice. So if instead of 2, if I say it to be 4, now the hello world is going to be repeated 4 times. So this is the first session about JavaScript.